And killing came easy to Nicky Scarfo. Just 140 pounds, 5 feet 5 in platform shoes, Scarfo was best known for one thing.
Reporter Kathy Gandolfo has put together a special report, a chronicle of the mob activities that led up to Scarfo's alleged dominance of the local mob.
On the night of March 21st, 1980, reputed organized crime boss Angelo Bruno was murdered as he sat in his car outside his South Philadelphia home. Just about 1 year later, Philip Testa, the man police say was Bruno's successor, was killed in a bomb blast at his home. According to Pennsylvania and New Jersey investigators, the man who ascended to power following Testa's death was Nicodemo Scarfo. Prior to this, Scarfo was allegedly the Bruno crime family's man in Atlantic City, overseeing loan sharking and illegal gambling operations. Scarfo, who lives on Georgia Avenue in Atlantic City, served a 6-month prison term in 1964 for manslaughter, and he served 2 more years for contempt for failing to answer a crime commission's questions. In 1980, Scarfo, his nephew Philip Leonetti, and Lawrence Merlino were acquitted of murdering a
Scarfo had, because of his connections with the union, had somebody in each casino that could take bets, sports bets. They also had, back in the day, there was no legalized poker. They had poker games up on a room.
Bill had seen it happen before, when Uncle Nicky turned on 28-year-old Salvatore Testa, Scarfo's most loyal captain, Leonetti's best friend.
Salvi thought my uncle was his dad, and I was his brother.
It was all luck and nerve with Nicky and Phil. So they were ready in 1980 when Philadelphia boss Angelo Bruno was rubbed out by one of his own men.
What about his alleged affiliation with underworld crime?
We don't know anything about it. We just know he was a wonderful person.
Less than a year later, the FBI watched as Nicky became the big boss. And Phil? He was the guy who made it all happen.
He became what every mafioso is, an extremely ruthless, self-centered, merciless killer. There was no change of heart. It was done. And I think that made him the real power behind Nicky, because he was so predictable.
Yes, he's as mean as his uncle. He's as vicious as his uncle. The only difference in him and Scarfo was Scarfo came first.
Nicky and Phil were feeling bigger than life, with a Florida retreat and their own 41-foot cabin cruiser called Usual Suspects, and the boys were welcome to come on down. As for the cops, what were they going to do about it?
If you're going to be a gangster, a criminal, you would think you'd hide from the law. Nicky didn't. He was thumbing his nose at everybody. He said, I'm Nicky Scarfo. Pay attention.
We should have just got, like, jackets and said mob on them so that everybody knew, and we wouldn't have had to do this stuff.
Wars began, and of these 3 men who took control after Bruno's death, only Scarfo is left.
First, I confirm that Mr. Scarfo does not have immunity. But we intend to proceed with the questions, and of course, you can take appropriate action, and we will review your objections at that time. Mr. Scarfo, where do you currently reside?
You can answer that question. 26 North Georgia Avenue, Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
I invoke my right under the 5th Amendment of the United States Constitution and decline to answer the question. Want me to continue?
What do you do for a living?
I invoke my right under the 5th Amendment of the United States Constitution and decline to answer the question.
Do you know Frank Gerace, the president of Local 54 of the Hotel and Restaurant Employee Union?
Same answer, sir.
What has been your relationship with Frank Gerace?
Same answer, sir.
Have you ever discussed Local 54 business with Frank Gerace?
Same answer, sir.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, he's giving this answer, same answer, just to save time, unless you prefer that he read his Fifth Amendment reason.
Are you saying that irrespective of what the question?
No, sir. He'll not irrespective of the question, but when he says same answer, he's referring to his Fifth Amendment right alone.
His Fifth Amendment.
Right.
Did you know Angelo, Bruno, and Phil Testa?
Same answer, sir.
What was your relationship with Bruno and Testa?
Same answer, sir.
Do you have any knowledge concerning the identities of anyone responsible for the murder of Angelo Bruno?
Same answer, sir.
Do you have any knowledge concerning the identity of anyone responsible for the murder of Phil Testa?
Same answer, sir.
Mr. Scarfo, why did you maintain the phone numbers of Frank Gerace and Sue Holland in a coded system of records?
I refuse to answer the question on the grounds of the Fourth and Fifth Amendments of the United States Constitution.
Did you know Robert Lumio?
I invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution and decline to answer the question.
What was your relationship with Robert Lumio?
Same answer, sir.
Did you ever discuss Local 54 business with Robert Lumio?
Same answer, sir.
Do you know any of the following individuals associated with Local 54?
Little Nicky Scarfo, 5'5", seized command. Scarfo saw himself as a combination of Al Capone and Jesse James, and he turned out to be the loosest cannon in mob history.
One day he showed me a paper where this guy killed 35 people, serial killer. And he's fascinated with how this guy gets away with it.
The way he did business. One of those holdouts was Harry the Hunchback Riccobini.
When Scarfo took over, Scarfo wanted everybody paying tribute to him and under his thumb. And I think clearly the Riccobini faction balked at that. And that resulted in the war where you had Riccobini guys and Scarfo guys out roaming the streets of Philadelphia looking to shoot each other.
Scarfo put contracts out on 70-year-old Harry the Hunchback and Harry's younger brothers, Sonny and Bobby. The boss made it clear that any of his soldiers should consider it their duty to rub out the troublesome Riccobini brothers. Nicky the Crow and a few of his mob associates took up the challenge, not for money, but for the chance it might offer them to advance within the crime family.
You never get paid. There's no such thing as being paid for a hit. There's no such thing as outsiders that we hire to kill somebody. And for
to a subcommittee subpoena. Mr. Scarfo, if you would please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony that you are about to give before this subcommittee is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah, I will.
Please be seated.